support and sponsorship.
Great. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Brian over here.
Hi, good morning.
I'm over from Team Xbox, and we have Brian over here from Microsoft Research. So we're here bright and early to make sure we go over some of Xbox's missions for gaming for everyone, and highlighting one of our really great student projects, or MS interns over here, for his Ph.D. research project at USC as well. And you'll see where they go together. In the audience, you should have the adaptive controller. You'll have the box in there. It's going to come down all the way to the front. Go ahead and check that out. I also have another adaptive controller right here. Okay. So when everyone plays, we all win. I'm over there on your guys' left-hand side, and that's Brian with his projects on the left. We'll hear more about our projects, our involvement with nonprofits in a bit. I'm honored to be here representing your keynote speaker on behalf of Team Xbox, and what is my day job? That's the first question everyone asks. I do a lot of volunteer work for nonprofits and helping assistive technologies for the adaptive controller. But Xbox Game Studios, we've made headlines in the past few years, at least this past 12 months, even 24 months, because we acquired about 8 studios in the span of 24 months. I've been closely in contact with finance teams. It's been going crazy. So Xbox Game Studios, we have 15 game studios. We're delivering great games. And for those who are asking, this is the little Gears of War 5 shirt, because that game is launching in about a week or so. So make sure you hear about Kate and her story and the new multiplayer modes. We got to download that at E3. So that's coming out. I did the work to help port that game over to Steam. How many of you guys are PC players? By show of hands. All right. How many are Xbox players? All right. Smaller subset. You notice that? So one of the important things in the strategy is being everywhere on any platform, and bringing that to Steam was one of our first missions. So that's kind of my day-to-day as a PM. For all of our secondary channels and integrating Xbox Live. So what I like to say is, when we launch a Steam game that has Microsoft titles like Gears of War or Halo, MCC that's coming out, when you log into Xbox Live, if that experience is smooth, I did my job great. If the experience is not, then let's just delete this whole speaking session and I wasn't here. All right, so what studios? We launched FDG just this past Monday at Gamescom, so I could be in Germany, but I chose to be here because I wanted to showcase all the great work. HDE2, we just acquired Double Fine Studios. So the question is, we have 15 studios here at Team Xbox. How do you go about having a central release PM team, and how do you enable these adaptive technologies, the controller or the accessibility in the UX, on a consistent level across these studios to add a coherent viewpoint for gamers from all backgrounds? And so that's the day-to-day. And lastly, let's change slides here. Like I said, I like to go to these conferences just to see all the crews that come together from all specialties and showcase the controller from students, players from all backgrounds. So you can see here, just as it loops, that's the adaptive controller that we set up at a healthcare STEM conference. I was former national president of this association for healthcare students. And on the right is a nonprofit that I'll go over later. But if you look closely at that arm, Halo 3, that's the Arbiter's 3D printed arm. We work with 343 to bring those custom prints and the licensing for children with limb differences. So we'll go over all that. First question is, how many of us have disabilities? We have over 1 billion people in the world who have disabilities. So why is the adaptive controller and the assistive technology so important for you guys to consider when you build your games? When you build the UX? You have 1 billion, but what does this really apply to? Question for the audience, how many gamers are out there in the world? Any idea? So we do industry reports in our research, but in short, 1 in 3 people. So there's about 7.5 billion people in the world. Right, when I was younger, it was 6, but I guess we're going. And there's about 2.5 billion gamers, according to News 2019. So 1 in 3 people that you know in your circles are going to be gamers. while at the same time, we know in the same 7.5 billion population, we have 1 billion gamers with disabilities. So I didn't tip all my hat on my background yet, but I also have a background as a registered nurse, the healthcare background, working in different floors, oncology, occupational therapy, and also what's very important for us is some of the work that the World Health Organization did back in 2014. And what that means is disability used to be defined as a personal health condition, all right? In 2014, they remapped that definition for disabilities to equal mismatched human interactions. Now, it's very important in PC gaming that you have all these different ways to program the interface. But if you notice, I brought the Elite controller here. Thanks, Brian. I brought the Elite controller over here, and generation after generation, and before the adaptive controller over there, this has been the main input method. So imagine that this was the only input method you had to play games, and those who didn't have the fine motor dexterity could play it. So we had to raise this issue across studios to raise important bit budget and showcase this work to really build something that could really change it. So by show of hands, how many of you saw our Super Bowl commercial about the adaptive controller? All right, a few, subset. That's a great controller. It's a great Super Bowl ad. It showcases a lot of the children playing with it. But here we're going to get a little more in-depth footage on how we actually came working with nonprofits for that. So before I go into the iteration of this controller, I wanted to highlight something called the Human Device and Interfaces Lab, or our partners in the Surface team. I'm looking around, I don't see any Surface laptops here, but I'm sure some of you have it day to day. The Surface Lab, or the Human Device Interface groups, their sole mission is to take PhDs like yourselves and find the correct measurements from everything from tactile key press, how much pressure you put on keyboards, to the size of our heads, larger, smaller, to find the correct Surface headbands or the headsets that you wear for Xbox. Everything from digital imaging right there. So you can visit this site right now. It's called Human Factors Lab. You can just Bing it or Google it, and you'll go straight to the site. And it's a very impressive lab because they have everything from, like I said, noise to their specialty, the Xbox controller. And why I bring this up, I had the pleasure of touring it right before coming here. You have teams to make sure that everything is fitted. So when you make your interfaces or controllers or your controls for your games going forward, understand what audience you're targeting. Quick statistical analysis, right? So you have the headsets, you can build one, and that'll probably cover about 65% of the population. But imagine if you want to cover 80%. So you're going to have to build 2 more headsets, right? One with a standard deviation above and below to cover that. But now, as biz manager, PM for the teams, you have to make those cost-effective decisions on should we move forward. Should we move forward on building controllers of different variations and sizes when we know that there's over 1 billion players in disabilities? 1 billion people in the world who have disabilities, and 1 in 3 are gamers. So in that lab, let's see here, you're going to see this quick video over here. This is an Xbox controller, but can anybody tell me the difference between that controller that I'm looking at and the one to the left of myself, the one that she's holding? Does it look a little enlarged? Yeah. Stretched out? It doesn't look like it at first in the video, but you pass this around, you can see that my thumb can cover the X button right here, but in this video I can only reach the left on the D-pad. So my question to this audience, and anyone can raise, it's fine. This extra large controller, why would the Human Factors and Design Lab have this on display for Team Xbox as part of their initiation when we first get oriented to Team Xbox? Any ideas why we need an extra large controller?
So you get a feeling for what it's like when a kid holds it?
Perfect, that's the right answer. First conference I've been to, right answer right away. So what we like to say is, usually the feel of the questions we get is, this is for Shaq. Is this for NBA players? It's not, right? And I have a large hand, and it's to simulate what the controller experience is for ages 3 and above when they first grab an Xbox controller. Imagine the mismatch of when you have your 6-year-old first play, let's just say, any of our family-friendly games like Lego, Forza, or Minecraft on Xbox, and and that's the experience they work with. All right, that's to show us our inherent biases about things we've taken for granted across the years since the first gaming controller in say the 1980s. So they build that for us to show the mismatch, and now I want to go through all the biases that we have because I'm looking around here and I notice all of us, and I always say one or two, but all have 10 fingers here. We all have fine motor dexterity. We all have complete ambulation. We all have endurance and muscle strength. So these are some of the assumptions that we've made, and we had to convince Team Xbox. So the first one is mismatches in interaction of the controllers, and we assume that the user can use 2 hands instead of a joystick. So imagine if I had both hands, I can use it, but I didn't have the strength in the left hand. I have carpal tunnel. Easy issues like that. And what I'd like to bring up is, first guess over, how many buttons are on this controller? Inputs.
Let's see.
Guesses?
Something like 10?
10?
No, 20.
20?
27.
All right, well, we have actually 17 inputs on this controller. Little cheat question, this is the Elite Controller 1. We have Elite Controller 2 that just launched, but you have 4 more toggles over here. So this one actually has 21. The standard Xbox controller has 17, 15 physical buttons, and 2 triggers. So just by taking the controller, you assume you can use all 10 fingers. You assume you can press all 17 buttons, you have the strength for it, and you have the reach. And other assumptions that we make, you have the fine motor control, simultaneous control, and that you have the reach around. So everyone here, if there's one thing to take away, I want to introduce everyone to this great resource as you build the future of gaming. That's our Microsoft.com/design/inclusive, because we operate based on these 3 principles. And those 3 are recognize exclusion, learn from diversity, and solve one and extend for many. So like I've been saying, the first step we had to take was to recognize exclusion. Second was learning from diversity, working with nonprofits. And lastly, by building the adaptive controller, we could solve for one and extend the solution across. So these are some sketches talking to that Bryce, his name's Bryce from our inclusive design lead from Team Xbox. I'm happy to share his contact and all the great work. But the adaptive controller, which I'll grab right here, started at an Xbox hackathon. And we worked with nonprofits such as Warfighter Engaged that helps bring some veterans back to onboarding into civilian life. And while those veterans are returning back to civilian life, what's the main thing that we take for granted that they can do? That they can play with their friends. And so that's what nonprofit worked with. But we had questions on what would this even look like. So here's some back sketches. And kind of measuring what this would look like. So I'm actually going to unbox this. And for those who have this adaptive controller in the audience, I just want to say that go ahead and play with the boxing, the packaging as well as you experience the whole thing. Because I'm going to go into that pretty shortly. So this is our adaptive controller. How many have seen this before? A few? Great. So A button, B button here. Everyone likes to mistakenly use touch pads. They're not. And there's over 19 mappable switches on the back. And we're going to go over this. Everything from the tilt, right here, the slope, is so that when you rest this and you mount it, it doesn't affect your wrists when you're gaming here. See that little slope right there? So, some design backgrounds there. And this talks about the 10 millimeter kind of raise that they have here, limited by the constraints of the inputs. And some more. But these are all the different ways that you can plug into the adaptive controller. And Microsoft's mission, like I said, is to empower every person and organization on the planet. Team Xbox takes that further. We want to empower players and healthcare providers in doing this. So these are many ways to play. And nonprofits have various ways of implementing solutions. So right now you can go on, say, Amazon and order some custom rigs and build it yourself. So some nonprofits, you order it, they come to your house and they build it for you, or you order it and it gets shipped to you. So how do you go about understanding how the different assistive technologies are out there and really making something so universal? And like I said, finally you have 19 in the back. One key point I like to bring up is when you're playing PC games and you have a controller and it's supposed to have a jump and you want to change that control to, say, sprint, right? Just the left click trigger. You can just go into the software and you can remap it in your game, as easy as that. Now say I'm back in my healthcare provider days as a nurse, occupational therapy, helping out everyone there, and I want to show the young child who's trying to ambulate, trying to play games, I want to switch the A button to the B button. Do I have time to go into your custom software, or your custom game, or the Razor software to remap that? Right? You're working with providers, understand your audience, and not only players, but the providers as well. So with a simple switch of a 3.5mm plug, you can physically just unplug it and plug it into a separate input here, and just like that, you remap the button. So that wasn't for players per se, that was more for the provider's end. And I had a great chance to talk to Bryce in the Inclusive Design Lab at Team Xbox as well. And obviously we would love to blow up this keypad even more, add the buttons. And I just want to let you know that we, the team, really thought through everything from the stylization of this. Because if you look at a lot of assistive technologies out there, let's just say it's brightly colored, it's neon, and this product follows the same design language as Xbox. This length of this controller is the same distance as the Xbox One S, so even if you stack this on your shelf, it'll be the same height. And what I'd like to show is this program here, and we're going to go into this distance between the A and B controller over here is the same distance as the controller when you hold it for your knuckles. Now why is that important? Right? Imagine I have full ambulation in my hands, except for I don't have fine motor function in my thumbs, and I want to press the A button. So with our co-pilot program, this was a software solution that we made. I can play here. If I want to press A, I can just dip down and play that at the same time. So I don't have to lose any of my competitive advantage right here. Now, one clear distinction I always like to make: we're making games accessible to play. We're giving an even playing field. That doesn't mean we're making the games easier for those who are playing. It's just as hard, all right? Cuphead is just as hard for anyone with adaptive controller. As we know, I see some smirks over there. I haven't beat yet. As anyone just like myself with full ambulation. So that's one of my favorite details of it for the Xbox Co-Pilot. You can literally drop down and press the A and B button, or remap it. When I'm playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare, my left thumb likes to get tired from sprinting, so sometimes I'll just push that in, make it easier on myself, just drop my knuckles down. So here is the one last thing about what we paid attention to, the box. If you notice, even in the packaging, it's one open touch. You can literally take this and just open that right there, grab this little tab, opens up right away. You notice this, you lift up the controller. Little details like that can mean the world to parents whose children have limb differences or disabilities. So, over here at nonprofits we work with, that's the Warfighter Engagement Hackathon. I'm getting Sergeant Josh Price input, along with one of our FTEs playing with some Cerebral Palsy, and the co-pilot program on the bottom right corner here. You notice in his left hand, he has full ambulation, he's moving around, but on the bottom, where his right hand is, he's using the adaptive controller. 2 inputs, one person, one avatar to have the control work, right? So you have increased buttons. All right, so I wanted to move forward to the last part of my section over here with the nonprofits. These are all the ones we've engaged, everything from the Cerebral Palsy Foundation to Special Effects, which helps with those with neurodegenerative diseases, and Warfighter Engaged. But one of mine that I've worked with recently, have we seen this one before? So this is Robert Downey Jr. over here. And this is a combination of mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and gaming as a form of rehabilitation for children with limb differences. This is Limbitless Solutions, and this is Iron Man, who's giving one of the first 3D printed Iron Man arms to the Limbitless Solutions candidate. Over there, he's getting the first Iron Man arm, and they're playing together. Have any of you seen this YouTube video from our OneNote before? A couple, less and less. All right, and that's the licensed 3D printed arm from Marvel. I showed you the example in the beginning. We had the 343 Master Chief's arm printed as well, so they could use it. And so the children know that their arms just make them fantastic, right? They have they have the coolest rigs, even when they're playing games. And fast forward this here. We're currently doing work to make sure that when we partner with Limbitless Solutions over here, and that's the hand up close. How can we integrate this 3D printed prosthetic arms, for those with limb differences, bionic children, we like to call them, into this adaptive controller? And there's already work being done to add a Bluetooth dongle to this, add the controller inputs right into that arm, so that they can be both Master Chief in the game and Master Chief in real life. All right. So with that, we love partnering with Xbox Research. So I wanted to just end with kind of our partnerships there. Xbox Research is a team that does design sprints across those 15 studios to make sure that the games that we build here are accessible, have the correct contrast, have the great menu sets, to make sure that your games are consistent across for all the spectrum of ability. And when everyone plays, we all win. All right, so that's our mantra, and we like to highlight great work. So Brian Cohn over here, man, he has a really, really great background. I'm so excited to have you showcase your work, because I think this falls right into Limbitless Solutions, which is, it's this intersection of mechanical engineering, it's gaming, but also occupational therapy and improving patient health. So there is a world where that all fits together. I'm going to challenge the room to do this. I'm going to pass it to Brian, who's kind of spearheading those efforts. All right. So thank you all for having me. Brian, take the floor.